Hi guys, it's me. I'm making a video, and this video is about my story. I've actually got it written down on my blog, so I'm going to be reading that because I can't remember it all because it's long. Anyway, so it all really began a few years ago. Not as noticeable as now, but subtle hints to what was to come. It was the beginning of a new school year, and I was a senior, year 11. The first week wasn't going too bad. I liked most of my teachers, and I had friends in all of my classes. Towards the end of the first week, my restless leg syndrome started playing up during about late afternoon for a couple of days. I thought nothing of it, just that it had entered my day life rather than just my nightlife. Anyway, my restless leg syndrome was starting to develop into something else. The only way I can explain it is that it felt like cold shivers down my spine every few minutes. The weekend came and I went to the mall, and my shiver thing was happening a little more often. Sunday night had arrived and my mum and stepdad had noticed the shiver thing I was doing. They googled it and thought it was a nervous tic, and whenever they brought it up I started to do my shiver jolting thing more frequently. Like right now, because when I'm talking about it, it happens more. Anyway, I went to school on Monday, and when I came home at about 7 o'clock ish, my stepdad brought up my body jerking slash jolting, and after 2 minutes talking with him, my jolting and jerking started to occur every few seconds. My mum freaked out and called my grandma to give us a lift to the hospital emergency. As soon as I got into the car, my jolting slash jerking started to occur non-stop. And that's basically because it was being given major attention. Anyway, we got to the emergency room and there were quite a few people there. This made me nervous and embarrassed, which made it occur more. I started freaking out, thinking that I would never stop, and I just burst into tears, really scared. I saw that my mum and grandma were tearing up, and I could see that they were also really scared. They took my blood pressure, and then they took me and my mum and my grandma through to the children's ward, even though I'm not a even though I'm not a child and I'm 16, almost 17 by the way. Anyway, there were about 5 to 7 doctors having a conversation on the other side of the room, and I knew it was about me because I could see them looking over at me, obviously. And they tried to take my blood, but when they saw me, they saw that I couldn't control my jolting, and that was moving and tensing my arm, so it would be hard to take my blood. They gave me drugs that were supposed to relax my muscles, but after 20 minutes of the first dose not working, they had to give me a second dose. The second dose worked and I started to calm down. They had to get my mum to hold down my arm while they were taking the blood and put the thingy, blood thingy in, whatever it's called. The thing where, like, they put it in so it's still in your arm and so they can just take blood if they need it later on. And yeah. Anyway, um, because even though I had calmed down, I was still jolting a bit, which is why she was holding my arm. After an extremely long night, they finally let my mum and grandma go home, and I went to the high dependency ward. By this time, it was about 12:45 a.m. in the morning. I was in hospital for 5 days, Monday to Friday, and in that time, I had gotten an EEG, an ECG, and an MRI. An EEG is where they put these things on your brain and it watches your brain activity. And so they basically put flashing lights to see if that would trigger it or anything. I think they did noises. And so basically, they just watched what my brain was doing when those things happened. I did tick, well, now tick, but I did jolt then, but nothing really came up on the. It was pretty normal for a weirdo. An ECG is basically just they put these things on your heart, well, your chest, sorry, and I think on your stomach. Well, I can't remember. Anyway, and it monitors your heart rate, and so it sees what your heart's doing. So it's like a lie detector. The little needle thing is reading. Anyway, and an MRI, which everyone knows an MRI. You go into that big machine and they just scan your brain. The EEG and the ECG both came up normal, but my MRI had something on it that the doctors weren't looking for. In relation to my jolting slash jerking, it was all clear, nothing out of the ordinary. But they stumbled across a hematoma. Now, this is not to be confused with a hematoma. They are completely different things. Absolutely, completely different. But the hematoma, which was in my brain, was not affecting it at all. So it was something we did not have to worry about. Over the course of the 5 days I was there, my jerking changed and I started to do some vocal outbursts. Now I'm just going to go back to the to the um, the hematoma thing. What my mum and what my family have deduced from it is that when I was dropped as a child, okay, I wasn't dropped. I wasn't like, oh yeah, fuck you. Oops. I should warn people that they're swearing. Anyway, um, it was an accidental, couldn't catch me in time, and I fell through the banister and down onto the ground from about 15 feet. I don't know what that is. I don't use feet. I use meters and kilometers, and I'm not American. Anyway, so um where was I? Yeah, so basically I was dropped and I fell. I think I fell my mom says it was my left side because it was on my head. I had this huge bruise. I fell down and then on my left. So sort of like you know when you sort of lie down in bed and your whole left side's on touching the bed. It was basically that. So it went head, but then head then body. Um, I'm not sure if it was front. I'm pretty sure it was the front. But our theory is that it's a scar from the fall. I'm not sure if it's at the back of my head or if it's at the front. I really don't remember that much of what the doctor said because it was a while ago. It was in January. Anyway, so I fell and our theory is that it's a scar from the fall. Anyway, I was about I think 9 months old, and my mum said that the doctor, because I was rushed straight to hospital. Well, that's a doctor. Anyway, the doctor said that if I had been over 1 year old, I would have died. Freaky, eh? Yeah. So I was 9 months, and I was wearing, because we were in Scotland, it was freezing. My mum said I was wearing this huge jacket, and she reckons that broke most of my fall. Anyway, that's why she thinks I didn't die. Anyway, back to my story. The vocal outbursts. They were just noises and sounds, nothing bad and like swears. And eventually my doctor said that they believed that I had developed a tic, both motor and vocal. I was released from the hospital with medication to see if it would help my tics, and an appointment to go back and see the neurologist in a few months' time, and an appointment with a psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm unsure of which he is. I'm pretty sure I have a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Anyway, there's two guys. One I talk to about my tics and everything, and then the other guy I talk to about my medication. Anyway, they believe that the stress or anxiety from my past has brought these tics on, and made me and my family reassess the past 10 years of my life, because a lot of stuff has happened to me at a young age that a child should not have to have had to deal with. I grew up too fast because of these things, because it was the only way I could deal with them. Anyway, this all happened in January, and it is now, well, it's not May anymore because I did this vlog in May. January, February, March, April, May, June. It's June. My tics are still here, and it has been 6 months. They've calmed down a lot, but are still there. Who knows what will happen? They may be permanent and they may be temporary, but only time will tell. So that's my little story. It's a bit long, isn't it? Yeah, I know. Anyway, oh, I look horrible. I'll put it down there. Hi. My hair's up in a bun. Anyway, so that's basically my story. I told you it was long, about 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes long. I don't do my vocal tics as much because I hold those back. I don't purposely, well, I half purposely hold them back and half unconsciously hold them back. Just one day I just didn't do them as much, and I realized that my body is like holding them back. So yeah, I transfer it into a cough now. So that's it, because I was just talking about it. That was how I transfer it from a tic into a cough. Pretty sneaky. Sometimes it sounds like a sneeze, but it mostly sounds like a cough. There was something else I did to hide it. That is it. And sometimes instead of a cough, it's the cough is when I'm really concentrating to hold it back, and the other one is sort of like a sort of thing. That one is kind of I'm a little laid back on holding it in, but so it's like a looser version of holding my tic in. So yeah, I know. Ooh, that's really stretchy. Anyway, sorry, I'm a weirdo. Anyway, that's pretty much all that's happening so far. Nothing else really. So I'm gonna go because there's nothing else to say, and I'm done talking and I have nothing else to say. So yeah. Anyway, subscribe and click the button and subscribe to my video. The plural, there's more than one. And well done, guys. Woo! 2 of my videos have reached over 1,000 views. Yes, people are watching it. There's people out there who are actually watching what I'm saying. Anyway, so I will see you guys later.